What is imposter syndrome? And what is its role in the admissions process for first-gen applicants, in your opinion?
Sure. We also talk about imposter syndrome as sort of imposter phenomenon, sort of helps depersonalize it, make it more structural, look at it sort of within a bird's eye of an institution, within an institutional focus. But it's this belief or this idea that you don't belong, right? That somehow you've sort of faked your way, or that you fooled people into letting you into these spaces that are not meant for you. And so it's this sort of constant belief that you're going to be found out. And then once they find out that you don't really belong, that somehow you got there with not on your own sort of merits, that you're going to be rejected, that you're going to be told to leave, and so forth. So it's not just a feeling, actually, I would say, like, it's more than just sort of like this idea that it's in your head. And that's why I think people, now we talk about it as phenomenon, that it's very real, right? Especially when you enter these spaces and these rooms and no one looks like you or talks like you or not necessarily acts like you, but there's a certain, even, so the culture is very different. And sometimes you step into a room and you have to say like, oh, I'm sorry, did I enter the wrong room? When it's in your head, you're thinking like, is this the place? Is this the right space for me? So I think that that's something that happens. And certainly I think it stops a lot of us from applying to graduate school in the first place, or sometimes, well, in my experience, it wasn't so much there where it sort of jumped out at me. I think it's being seated around people and thinking like, or going to the admissions, like the preview day, looking at others as people sizing each other up. And certainly on the first days of the seminars, I still remember people using these big words. Somebody said like in my first year of an intro course to the PhD program with a very well-known established historian at UCLA. And somebody said, oh, it's such a Hegelian whatever example. I was like, wow, yeah, that sounds impressive. No,
gotta look it up.
Yeah. So she called him on it, which was kind of cool. So yeah, I think that it's very real. It's something that continues to plague, I'll say, myself even at this point. And I always wonder, like, one of my former undergrad students who now has a PhD, African-American student, and who also comes from a low-income neighborhood. So he says, Dr. Miros, do you experience? I'm like, no, I don't have the imposter phenomenon. And I thought, wait a minute, why did I kill myself? I hurt, like literally put myself in the hospital after wanting to get these books out and wanting to do all this work. It's because I feel I still need to prove it to the, to the powers that be, and even myself, perhaps, that I belong. And so, yeah. So yeah, the studies show that women of color in particular in academia have horrible rates in terms of like health concerns and all these issues. So